I love those.
Yeah.
I love purple sweater shirt.
Me too. Wait, here.
It's like jelly, Mommy. I think that's enough. I think that's enough.
Okay. A lot in there today. All right. Good.
I smiled.
Uh-oh. Ah.
I'm still gonna be late.
Hmm.
Don't forget to get students.
All right. Good. Beep, 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 beep. Okay. Ready? 1, 2, 1, 2, 3. I have my balloon cup. All right. Last one of the school year. Good. Sure. Good morning. Eyes up. Hearts up. Mind sharp. Compassion on full blast. What's up, Lynn? Okay, let's go. All right. Want to see the schedule for today? Tuesday. Okay. We're in here until 8:35, and then you're going to take these chairs and we're going to go out there. Hi, it's the second to last day of school, and I should be more cleaned up than I am. I just don't want to. I'm looking at the checkout list that I need to finish before, tomorrow. And I just feel paralyzed by it. I just don't want to do anything. I got to finish grades for all these kids and citizenship grades and work habits and all that stuff. And I'm just over it at this point. This is what it looks like in here. I just pushed all the tables to the side and we're just sitting in the middle because we only have 15-minute periods today. And we're just watching Bluey, actually, and signing yearbooks. There's just really nothing else to do. I need to clean up all this stuff and put all this stuff away. There's just not a way to do that with 35 really loud people in here. I feel like I have nothing else to put you on. I don't have anything to stand you on. Well, we can come over here for a little bit. I was just realizing because I teach 3 different academic preps, I have 3 class sets of textbooks. I don't really know where I'm gonna put all of those. I don't think I had my Terracotta Warriors last year on the last day of school. Did I? I think I got them at the beginning of this year. So I don't know if they're just gonna let me leave them there. They're very heavy. I don't wanna move them, but I don't want them to get broken. I don't know. I think I need to cover my bookshelves with just some butcher paper, maybe bring some things home. Ugh, there's a chocolate milk box on the floor. I said no food or drink. I don't want to clean anything up. I don't want to be the mom and the servant to all these kids this week. I'm just no. Usually I'm pretty chill with stuff like that if they, want to drink something or have a quick snack, whatever. But since we don't have tables and stuff right now, everything just keeps getting spilled. I don't want to do extra work. It's kind of my motto, my goal these days. I don't want to do extra work. I've done enough. Oh, speaking of that, let's go talk about this book really quick. I was talking about this on Instagram stories the other day. I don't necessarily have thoughts or opinions on this yet. I'm just sharing information. So I have been reading Grading for Equity all year really, but let's see, I'm 200 pages in. I've read most of it. I get the gist, and I do like the idea of standards-based grading, and then also just putting in the points as kids meet those standards or whatever, and not having late work penalties and stuff, which I don't anyway. Let me just explain what that means for the teacher, because that's what I do not see addressed in here. So these are the 7th grade English standards. There's 5 different subcategories of standards, like reading literature, reading informational text, writing, speaking and listening, as well as language. Okay, so within 7th grade English, there are 77 standards that I'm supposed to teach and assess. And then also like input that data, which should only be a very small percentage of my job because I have to write the lesson plans, teach the lesson plans, create resources a lot of time, all the things. So I almost always have at least 185 students. Some years I have more. So let's say that I only taught 7th grade English, which I don't, but let's say that these were the only standards that I was worried about and I had my 185 students. And if let's say that the only grades that I put in were just these standards, that would be 14,245 individual grades that I had to input, more than 14,000. And let's say that we're following everything in this book and we're allowing students to retake and redo and turn in late, which are all good things. 14,000, more than 14,000 pieces of data that never close. Nothing is ever like done. I can never cross any grading off of my to-do list. Never. Here's 6th grade. Here are the 6th grade standards, and there are less. So there are 48 standards that 6th graders have to learn. Let's say that I taught all 6th grade history, which I don't. But if I did, that would be putting in 8,880 individual pieces of data. And then I'm assessing them for mastery on things like describe the hunter-gatherer societies, including the development of tools and the use of fire. I mean, okay. Here are the 7th grade history standards, which I also teach. Let's say that I just taught 7th grade history. There are 61 individual standards. Let me just pick one at random. Discuss the expansion of Muslim rule throughout military conquest and treaties, emphasizing the cultural blending within Muslim civilization and the spread and acceptance of Islam in the Arabic language. Assess that for mastery times 185. 11,285 individual pieces of data, jumping from the Roman Empire to China in the Middle Ages, to sub-Saharan civilizations in medieval Africa, to medieval Japan and medieval Europe and Mesoamerican societies in the Renaissance. Okay, so, I mean, okay, it's just interesting to me that there are so many words in this book, so much research, some really strange comparisons that I don't appreciate, and not a single word about like how teachers could possibly manage all of this data and how that would just like take over your entire teaching life. My thoughts towards middle school history in particular, and I've said this before, is that it's more like an experience. My grades definitely skew high, like almost all of my students get an A because I pretty much do give participation points for everything we do. We are experiencing this really weird information. Like this is Hammurabi's Code, Egyptian art and architecture. We're experiencing that. I don't expect you to master this, to be honest. I don't consider this a class where you move at your own pace. I think that we experience this information together as a class, and we're building their schema. We're introducing them to these different places and different concepts and, you know, kind of the foundations of civilization. And later on, other things that they learn about history will be able to fit inside that schema within their minds. But I'm honestly not expecting that they master all of this stuff anyway. So I don't know, maybe I'm wrong in all of this for 6th grade and for 7th grade. Even for English, maybe. I don't know. So, I mean, my kids always get high grades unless they do absolutely nothing, and then they do get zeros. I don't know. I'm going to make a whole YouTube video about this, but here's where my head's at. But I've been reading this book called Grading for Equity, and I like a lot of the ideas in it. It calls for like standards-based grading and not using grades as a way to like try to control behavior. And that part of it I agree with. I cannot understand why anybody would make their life harder by counting things into your grades, you know, that have to do with like how many times you went to the bathroom or extra credit or like just things that parents get mad about, like having a notebook with you, like bringing your supplies, that kind of stuff. I agree, should not be in your grade book at all. I just think that's absurd. And even just like having a complex system of like late work and how many points you deduct for different things, I just don't do that anymore. Again, partly because I don't want to do extra work. And like, what is it costing me? Why am I benefiting in any way from like taking away points and like keeping track of things if students turn in late work? Why would I do this? Like, I have no desire to exert control over students or to like, honestly, to teach them lessons about life. Like, whatever. I do things late often. You just kind of deal with the consequences. Sometimes there are no consequences. I don't know. I'm just not very interested in like turning kids into little workers. I'm really concerned about turning them into good thinkers, good critical thinkers, and I want to focus on like captivating their interest in books, you know, reading and expressing themselves in my English class and in history, in my history classes. But I just am so like uninterested in grading in general that there's like nothing I'm willing to fight for. Like, okay, you want this grade on that, like whatever. And I don't really get any pushback on grades now because I don't take off points for late work and, you know, just like have these like weird policies. I just don't have any policies. Like there's 1 day per month when you can bring late work to me. I, again, don't want to do any work, so I won't open your emails about it. I won't open a new tab. You just have to come show me on your Chromebook the work that you did, and you know, if you did all of it and it's all good, okay, I'll give you all the points. Usually it's not great, so they get like some of the points, but as long as I'm not doing any extra work, I don't care. Like, just okay, turn it in late. We have time set aside for that, so I don't know, I'm just not worried about it. I'll make a whole separate video about this when I've like had more coffee and it's like more professional, because I know some people will use my videos in like credential programs and stuff like about certain topics, and this is not one of those videos. We're just talking here and doing Mariah's hair, and I think we're gonna go to the library later. Oh, but I also don't give homework. I just like don't. Maybe it's just because of what I teach. Like, I just don't believe that 6th or 7th grade history should be stressing you out after school. Let's do it all together. Let's have fun in class. If you didn't finish anything or something, you know, maybe just wrap it up at home. But I'm not giving you homework, so I have no homework grade. I don't weight anything in the grade book. Like, just keep it simple. I think maybe there are other like outside factors for other people that prevent them from keeping it simple. I don't know. The longer I teach, the more simple I make things, and the less willing I am to like complicate a bunch of things for no reason. I will say though that like he cites these studies over and over again that say that kids are not motivated by grades, and I might just have outlier kids, but they are very motivated by grades. I would like them to be less motivated by grades. If they have a 0 in the grade book, they will flip out. Like, if when I put in grades and then like there's a few zeros in there, I will immediately get a bunch of emails, panicked. And so that's why I just offer those late work days once a month now, because I used to get those panicked emails. Now I'm just like, okay, on the next late work day, bring it to me on the next late work day. Like, I don't care what the reason was. I don't need a big long email about how you were absent. That's the other thing too. Well, I was absent. Okay. You were absent. I'm sure I didn't grade it for like 2 weeks after you were absent. You had plenty of time to get that in. But whatever the reason, whatever, just give it to me on a late work day. So I should have some coffee, I feel like, before my next class comes in. Maybe we can attempt some cleaning in here. Yeah, I think I'm gonna take my kids to the Central Library today because we get out early. I have a half day, Jensen has a half day. I can just pick Mariah up from daycare. So I think we're gonna go do that because I need something fun. This is boring. This is boring. I'm bored. I hate doing grades and administrative stuff and paperwork and cleaning. I hate all these things. So I want to go do something fun. So we'll do that later, I think. We got home from the library just a little while ago. Actually, while we were there, like we were trying to leave, and there was just this sudden downpour, and we didn't have umbrellas or jackets or anything, so then we just stayed in the library for a little bit longer. And I was going to get my parking validated, and they were like, oh, you have to have a library card. And I was like, oh yeah, I don't have one. I don't like technically live in the city of LA. And they said that didn't matter. You could live anywhere in California as long as you had an ID that showed an address anywhere in California. You can get a library card for the LA library. So that was kind of cool. And they have so many like really cool resources. I saw somebody sewing using the sewing machines. They have 3D printers. Because it started raining, a lot of people were coming in off the street, and they provide a lot of resources for people to get education, diplomas, GEDs, citizenship, work on their language, like all kinds of things. They do so much great work there. And I was just checking the mail, and I got this really cute package, so I thought I would show you guys. My friend Amanda just published a book. My kids are fighting over nothing. You can probably hear them. She has all these really cute materials that go with it, and look how pretty it is. I think it's called the passenger seat, so that's why there's like the road motif. Let's see. Oh yeah, life in the passenger seat. Here's the cover. Life for Shelby Morris has been one giant road trip, but not the good kind. After a series of evictions, her free-spirited classic Mustang driver mother, Gina, has decided to move them to Michigan to put her passion for cars to work at the Ford factory. Cool. All right. So yeah, I'll have to read this one and let you guys know how it is. Since I'm wearing my book club shirt, I'll show you my book club book. I just set it up here, but I finished this one yesterday, I think, last night, maybe over the weekend. Homeseeking by Carissa Chen. There's a local bookstore that hosts book clubs, which is nice because then, you know, I don't know, sometimes they're just like hard to find like in the wild. So I kind of like the idea of just going to a bookstore. I haven't actually gotten to go to the book club meetings yet. I think I bought the book for another one and I couldn't get a babysitter on that day. But anyway, this was the book choice, and then you just get it at that bookstore and then you can go to the club. Set, like, it jumps back and forth in time a lot. Technically the beginning is these two kind of little kids in Shanghai in the 40s, and they're under Japanese occupation, and then as they get a little bit older, the Japanese have been pushed out, but the nationalists and the communists are like vying for power, and so there's a boy who has to join the nationalists in order to protect his family because they're being accused of like siding with the communists, but the nationalists are taking over Shanghai, and the girl gets sent by her parents, and this is kind of spoilers, so don't don't listen too closely if you want to read this, but she gets sent to Hong Kong just to kind of like be out of harm's way. So they are separated from each other, but their paths cross later on in their lives. The boy ends up in Taiwan with, you know, the nationalists and Chiang Kai-shek, and so he's like a foreigner in Taiwan, can't really speak the language. She doesn't speak Cantonese because being from Shanghai, she speaks like Shanghainese and Mandarin, so she doesn't speak the Cantonese of Hong Kong. So it's like just a very nuanced look at what it was like for people in China, and you know, maybe if you're born in America or in the West and you just kind of like see China as like all one thing. This book really helps you to see like all of the differences between the regions and how difficult the political situation was. And the one kind of theme of the book is that like none of these people were really loyal to a particular government or army or like, you know, whatever, the nationalists. He's just joining up with them to protect his family, and then like later on his sister has to, you know, show her loyalty to the communists once they've taken over. And so like governments almost mean nothing to them. It's just a way to protect yourself and just try to be on like the winning team, whatever that is. So that's kind of like an interesting theme throughout the book. And then they both later on like end up in the United States, and their identity there is like kind of complicated. So it's really, really good. I definitely recommend this one. Gotta set it aside for my book club day. These are two others that I just finished. I really liked this one, The Other March Sisters. It has 3 authors, and it's about Jo March's other sisters, Amy and Meg and Beth, and it's like a retelling, like a reimagining of their stories, and I really, really liked it. It was unexpected. I don't even want to give you like too much information about the plot at all. You're probably already familiar with like the story of Little Women, so this is just a very different way of thinking about what could have been the lives of the other 3 March sisters. And then of course this one, The Bible Says So by Dan McClellan. I love, you know, his reels, like he's on TikTok and like puts his reels on Instagram and he knows so much like ancient history and so much context around the Bible. So I really, really enjoyed this one. And as somebody who now like teaches and studies ancient history, and then somebody who has all of this like Sunday school, Bible college knowledge also in my head, like it kind of is bridging the gap between the two things and like filling in a lot of the holes that honestly like none of the pastors or Bible college teachers knew. They don't know these things. They didn't know how to teach us. Under my camera here, you're just gonna be lower. It's all right. I got this one when I was doing research for my book. But you know, Madeline Miller, if you've read The Song of Achilles, this is just like a little tiny, obviously very short story, but really, really interesting. Highly recommend. I loved this one, Atalanta by Jennifer Saint. I have 2 more of her books that I haven't read yet, but I love this one because it's set in Arcadia, which is where my school is, and then Atalanta is just like a really, really cool character. And this like writes her back into the story of Jason and the Argonauts. Like, as I was reading it, I was like, is she just completely making that up? Because I've never heard of Atalanta being with Jason and the Argonauts. But I guess there are a few sources that like mentioned her there. So this just, you know, kind of takes that and runs with it. And I really liked that. And then this one, oh my goodness, Human Acts. This is translated. It was originally written in Korean. It's about a real life student uprising in South Korea. And again, one of the themes of this one is just like how futile it is to give your life for a government or to like stand up against a government. And I mean, like, I know that's not true. Like, things wouldn't have changed without these very brave student protesters, but she also just forces you to look at the reality of what happens when you're a young person with no power who stands up against their government. So many of them were just mowed down in the streets, just slaughtered and killed. And then the people who did survive had horrible PTSD for the rest of their lives. And it's just awful. And this book is a masterpiece. So she also wrote The Vegetarian, which is on my list to read as well. So those are some good ones. Tomorrow is the last day, just one more day of school. So I'll see you then. I'll bring you along. All right, last one of the year. Good morning.
Good morning.
Eyes up.
Eyes up.
Hearts up.
Hearts up.
Mind sharp.
Mind sharp.
Compassion on full blast.
Compassion on full blast.
Okay, let's go.
Okay, let's go.
All right, what do you want to watch on TV? What should we watch on Disney Plus?
YouTube shorts.
Scary movie.
Gosh. Goodness. Okay. I'm just like covered in dust. I found the Parthenon game that I was looking for. This was like the last bag, a bag from that I shoved things in at the end of last year and then didn't ever go through until today. Again, I'm doing a horrible job of cleaning up my room. I'm just shoving things into cabinets and hoping for the best. And we'll see if I get to it before school starts. I don't know, man. You just get so tired by the end of the year that I'm not gonna stick around and work on this now. And then I also feel like that at the beginning of the year. So I don't know. I think this is the end of my 13th year, pretty sure. 13, maybe 14. Still don't have things organized. I'm a fairly organized person, but this eludes me. All right, should I cover these books? I guess I should. I just don't want to. I don't want to do anything. Okay, that's it for me. Closing out year 13 or 14, still can't quite remember. This was a hard one. I'm very tired. I've got summer school coming up. I'm doing half of the summer school session. I'm not doing the first half, so I do get a little break right now. And all those things always sound so cheesy, like protect your peace and set your boundaries and all that kind of stuff. Kind of sounds like therapy speak or whatever, but like I think I need to do a better job of that. That does need to be like a goal next year, because I feel like when I don't do that, then I'm just mad. I'm mad all the time. Like, I think I was just angry most of this year. Usually at like larger things, like things completely out of my or anyone at this school's control, but things just, you know, your frustration comes out on the people in front of you. And I don't want to do that. I don't want to be that way. So overall though, this year was a success. My classes were great. Taught 7th grade history for the first time. We closed out the year. We did good. I'm gonna leave it at that, and I'll see you this summer. Bye.